Now I know that you may be curious what's with the setting change. Why is this fucking podium so much taller than me? Bitch ass podium. Why is there a setting change? Why do I look like I'm giving a presentation? Why am I in a classroom? That's because I'm taking you motherfuckers to class today. Class is in session. Open up your laptops, open up your textbooks. If I see your phones, I'm slapping the shit out of you. Unless that phone is open to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. So, today we're going to be talking about a book that I read not so long ago, actually quite recently ago. And this book is hands down one of the best adult horror books I have ever read. Now, that review I did was very, very long. I went into a lot of detail, but I thought that I really wanted to emphasize this book's greatness to you in a shorter format, a more interesting format. And I knew you guys would appreciate that, wouldn't you, y'all? How do y'all feel out there? Is the applause track queued up? Is it Why the fuck won't this shit stop? Okay. Anyway, so I'm going to be talking about one of the best adult horror books that I've read in recent times, and that is NOS4A2 by Joe Hill. Now, NOS4A2 by Joe Hill, for those of you who don't know, is the son of Stephen King. And this book was fantastic. If you want to read a horror roller coaster, if you want to experience moments of uncomfort, if you want to experience moments of greatness, moments of badass action, moments of some of the scariest shit you've ever read, moments of some of the creepiest shit you've ever read, and moments where you're just rooting for characters to win because you like them so much, this is one of those books, all right? This is one of those books. This book was such a fantastic ride. It was so much fun, and that's why I'm recommending to you guys to go and read it. So NOS4A2 by Joe Hill. What is this book about? Well, basically, there's this main character, nicknamed the Brat. I forgot her name, however, I read so many books that I forgot her name. But the main character is a woman. She has a son, and she reflects on her childhood, where basically she grew up experiencing things that no other kids had experienced. And that's because she was able to manifest her imagination into reality and basically create a physical bridge that she would be able to use to teleport across distances. It was a rickety old bridge. It had, bats from the ceiling, bat guano everywhere. It had wooden boards that were nearly broken. It just looked like an abandoned rickety old bridge that many of you guys may have seen. And she thought it was a figment of her imagination until one day she crossed over and realized that she'd ended up in another state. And she realized from then on that she was able to teleport. And you slowly start to find out that within this world of NOS4A2, there are gifted people out there. People with sixth senses, people with unique abilities, kind of like X-Men in its own unique way. And these people have the ability to manifest basically their inner world, their imagination, their thoughts, their mind into reality. And for those of you who've watched Jujutsu Kaisen, it kind of reminds me of that, where they do domain expansions, Ryoki Tenkai. They manifest their imaginative world into reality and use it for powers. That's kind of what the people in NOS4A2 do. And this little girl thought that she was, an imaginative kid. She thought that she was basically freaking out over things in her life until she realized one day that, yeah, this is actually reality. I can actually do this. And there might be other people out there that can do it. People that can read the future. People that can create entire worlds straightly out of their mind. People that have all these unique powers. And that's when you start introducing into the extraordinary threats of this world. Now, the main villain in this book is a man named Charles Manx. Charles Manx is the whole reason why this book is called NOS4A2. He's this tall, super old, vampire-looking type of guy. He's a serial killer. He kidnaps and kills children, And slowly, as time goes on, the main character finds out about this guy and realizes that he may or may not have the same type of gift that she does. Except in this guy's case, he has a Rolls-Royce Wraith, a classic model that he's able to manipulate. He can lock its doors on will, it can drive on will, he can create little pocket realms inside of it, and he uses this Rolls-Royce Wraith to that's a tongue twister, to basically travel over into a world that's created out of his fucked up imagination. And it's called Christmas Land. And Christmas Land is basically where he takes a bunch of the kids that he kills and kidnaps and brings them over there to basically drain them of their life force. They become some demonic level things that I'll talk about in just a moment. And by doing that, he's kind of like a NOS4A2. He doesn't drain blood, but this old fucker is basically draining their life force and using it to stay alive for a long, long time. And he keeps finding accomplices, he keeps finding victims, and he's a black Air Force wearing motherfucker, man. And let's just say the main character may or may not become on his target list. There may be some people that she tries to save. There may be some ways she tries to stop Charles Manx, and eventually it backfires on her. And soon in the future, now that she's grown up and escaped this guy, now she's being targeted. Now she's being hunted down by him once again. And the forces that are coming in are more than any one person should ever have to deal with, and it's some of the most wild shit you've ever read. Main character is fantastic. She's super relatable. You relate to her pain, the suffering that she goes through. She has some neglectful parents. She has some daddy issues. She has this whole situation with Charles Manx where she's basically almost tortured and killed due to an experience, a horrifying experience that nobody would ever believe her about. And she ends up then trying to start a family, and now the ghosts of her past are hunting her once again. And her son may or may not be the target this time. Her life and blood, her loved ones are now the ones at stake. And how is she going to save the world, save the people with all of this pressure on her? You relate to her, you really like her. She's got some vivid language. She's very to the point, very blunt, very honest. And even though she is sort of dysfunctional, even though she has a lot of trauma and pain, you root for her. She really is kind of like a superhero story. You really want her to succeed in the end, and you can understand the type of shit that she's going through. Next is the villains. I mean, Charles Manx is one of the most intimidating villains out there. This guy is truly horrifying. This super tall Nosferatu type of guy, old, slick back. His teeth are all fucked up. He's got like jagged fangs of teeth. He's got sunken in eyes. He looks old as the fucking Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt. This guy is kidnapping children, killing children, and he's super uncomfortable. He has this very childlike, Joker-like personality at times, and especially when he's around children or people that you think are potentially going to be victims, you start getting uncomfortable, man. He really has that type of presence to him, that manipulative, you know, the devil, Satan himself kind of presence. You also have his ally, the Gas Mask Man, who's fucked up, man. This guy is in some ways even more fucked up than Charles Manx, because this guy is basically the psychopath, this mental sort of patient who's down on luck, and he basically is like a child on the inside but does fucked up things on the outside, and Charles Manx takes advantage of that. He finds guys like this and makes them his assistants. He promises them, oh, you know, I'm going to take you to Christmas Land where you can live out the childhood you never had for the rest of your life. You're going to be in complete paradise and complete bliss. All you have to do is kill women, kill parents, and kidnap children for me. And he does so. However, he's not just satisfied with killing children. Let's just say he works at a chemical plant. He may or may not be able to get his hands on some gingerbread smelling type of gases, which can basically cause you to hallucinate. And from then on, he sexually assaults, tortures, and kills women. Brutal, some of the most disgusting, brutal things you can read. Extreme horror, so content advisory warning. But man, is it uncomfortable. The Gas Mask Man being that disgusting, that vicious, that insane, and Charles Manx being the more cool, collected, manipulative, kind of mobster type, Satan type of character. It all works really well, and you really feel like you're in danger. And I haven't even talked about Christmas Land. Christmas Land, which is the world that Charles Manx is able to manifest, is one of the most awesome horror locations I have ever read about. Point blank period. Christmas Land. For those of you who have not read this book and those of you who are curious, is the imaginative world that Charles Manx, kind of manifests. But it's horrifying. You have snowmen that wave at you, and as you're passing by on these snowy roads, snow will be moving in the form of poltergeists and phantoms and ghosts, and these snowmen are not normal. No. You'll have these giant snowmen waving at you, and as you pass by in the car, you then see a little snow child decapitating and murdering his entire snow family. And you're like, what the fuck is this? Then you actually get into Christmas Land, and Christmas Land is basically this giant amusement park. You have this giant sleigh roller coaster. You have, this Ferris wheel. You have this, 11-story tall Christmas tree. But it's not normal. No. You'll pass by these chocolate shops, and there will be basically these chocolate men just, again, decapitating, murdering, sexually assaulting, and killing people with, raspberry kind of looking like blood and stuff. And Christmas Land, when Charles Manx kidnaps these children, they don't become normal children when they're kidnapped. No. They transform. Yeah. They get black veins popping out of their body. They get icy tip frostbite kind of fingers that as soon as they touch you, your body will automatically get frostbite and start to break apart. They have rows and rows of serrated hooks for teeth. If you've ever seen the mouth of a lamprey, that's kind of what it looks like. They have these thousands of rows of, hooked teeth going all the way down their throat. And then they can open their mouth like a lamprey and basically rip you to shreds. Horrifying. And they got these completely black eyes, lifeless. And then they'll be wearing necklaces of severed thumbs and fingers. The Christmas tree will be decorated with the decapitated heads of mothers and fathers and grandmothers. It's fucked up. There's a lot of fucked up shit. And let's just say that the climax of this story, when you finally fully get into Christmas Land, it is one of the most action-packed, one of the most intense horror action scenes I've ever seen. It is one of the most action-packed, badass, yet absolutely terrifying and fun locations in all of adult horror and even kids horror that I've read. So, point blank period, this is a super fun book, super creepy, super terrifying. It's long. I think it's like 700, 700 pages. But trust me, even though Joe Hill is Stephen King's son, he does not have that word dump that his father does. This guy's book flows like a movie. You feel like you're watching a movie or a TV show. There's no slow points. I flew through this book in basically a week or two, despite it being 700 pages, damn near. And man, it was great. I had a fun time. Read this on Christmas. Even if you want to read it during the summer, can read it during the summer, but make sure to read this at some point. Even though the length may seem crazy, the way the story's formatted, going back into the childhood of the main character to adulthood, it's all fantastic. The villains are great, the action is great, the setting is great, the concept is great, and Joe Hill's writing, he overall killed it, and I cannot recommend this book enough. I'm actually going to retroactively bump this book up to a 10 out of 10. This is a perfect adult horror book to me. I initially took off 0.3 because of the ending, but I think the ending sort of works in its own way, and I'm willing to forgive that certain bittersweet moment just for the fact of how good it is. So this is a 10 out of 10, flawless victory. Please go check out this book. No matter what you have going on in your life, take some time, read it, and I swear to God, you're gonna have an amazing fucking time. And that's all I have for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. We just surpassed 200 subscribers, which means we're gonna be having a Q&A video. And yeah, I have other content down below, other adult horror reviews, all types of horror on my channel, so please go check it out. And deuces. Let's cue up did the applause? This is a little awkward. You know what, we can do it without the applause. Just round of applause, I guess. Fuck am I doing with my life?